This episode is about Montepulciano. This is both a grape and the name of a town in Tuscany. On the right-hand side of this slide, you see a Montepulciano di Abruzzo, which means that it's made from the grape in the wine area of Abruzzo, which I think exclusively in Italy actually grows that grape. On the left-hand side here is Vino Nobilo di Montepulciano, which means the noble wines of Montepulciano, the place, and that is made primarily from Sangiovese. Great, so it is a completely different wine. In addition to the Vino Nobile wine, there is also a Rosso di Montepulciano wine, which is a lighter style. These wines from Abruzzo are very widely available. All UK supermarkets have examples at fairly low prices. I show 3 bottles of the Abruzzo wines here from the Montepulciano grape. Originally, I was going to use the one on the left, which is the Sainsbury's Taste the Difference bottle, which is 14 degrees ABV and £8. In passing, I had tried their bottom shelf version, which is 12.5 degrees and a mere £5.75, the house version. But by coincidence, I participated in the Morrison's Valentine meal deal, and that came with the option to have a bottle of Morrison's version of Montepulciano d'Abruzzo, and that is the one shown in the middle here. That is from the Sintra co-op, whereas the others were from the Vero co-op. The Sintra, I think, is probably the largest co-op there. And this organic wine, which is 12.5%, knocked my socks off a bit, actually. It was £8, had a lovely funky nose, and that was appreciably better than the other two here. So I substituted that. After all that, these are the 3 wines subject to this tasting. The first one is one with the Montepulciano grape, and the next 2 are using a mix of primarily Sangiovese grapes. Right, so summing up the wines that we drank in this session, first of all, if we take the great Montepulciano, the Morrison's the best one. For £8, I thought it was really super wine, funky nose, good value. I think generally speaking, on the Montepulciano d'Abruzzo, they tend to come in 2 groupings. They come in the cheap and cheerful one, which the Sainsbury's do the house version of that. Tesco's do quite a good one under this label. This is their white one, what they do, but it's Vista Castella. So if you look at this shield, Tesco's do a very inexpensive Montepulciano d'Abruzzo here, which is quite good. So you get the cheapest chips ones. You also get the ones like the Morrison one, which is very good. And I can remember tasting the Tesco finest Montepulciano d'Abruzzo a while back, probably about a year and a half ago, and that vintage was actually very elegant and good. So going over now to the Montepulciano, the town in Tuscany, the Rosso di Montepulciano, which is 13 degrees, that was a very elegant wine. It was the most expensive wine of the tasting, but it was good. It's quite chewy, lean style, and I enjoyed that very much. Going on to the Vino Nobile di Montepulciano. This was pretty good value. This was the one from Lidl. What I noticed though, this was the 2020 vintage. I tasted the 2021 in a tasting a little while back, and that I didn't taste them side by side, but that I remember as being a little bit better than this. And I guess it's the old adage, really, that if you come across a wine in the supermarket, there's 2 vintages. Generally speaking, I think one's better off with the younger vintage rather than the older. Um, but overall, all 3 wines I enjoyed very much. They were all pretty decent value, and It was nice exploring the differences, which I think I hadn't fully appreciated before, between the Montepulciano, the grape, and the Montepulciano, the town. Well, that's all from us for this episode. See you next time. Keep swirling, stay curious. Cheers.